afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Jon.
I'm Whitney.
Oh my God, dude. Shlomo, get
under the bench
on your bed.
Farting.
Go on your
Just letting it fly.
on your bed. Oh my God.
Or go over by Haley.
He's got to be eating either like the cat poop or like dead frogs. Or live
both.
frogs. Yeah, or both. Oh my gosh, that is pungent. So, story time! We're here to talk to you today about hiring a technician. You know, I see this a lot, and I see it in different forms on Facebook, on LinkedIn, people talking about hired somebody new again, and a complaint, or trying to find a person, and they're putting a low rate on there. So, you know, we've hired altogether, what, Harry, so 7 over the last decade, and it took us a decade to really find a technician outside of, you know, Whitney and I working, who really met the grade for our expectations and the way we work for our standard deviation.
And had that, you know, it was the commitment to detail, the willingness to learn, and also the just energy. Like, we could literally ask this person to do anything, and they're just like, yes, go concrete, all in, super excited. Yeah, and I tell you, having that energy in the lab is just awesome. Gosh dang, that
the energy from this
gas
dog chowder is just
that is horrible. That is so gross.
It fully describes what we're dealing with right now. Shlomo, for the love of Pete, we got to give that dog more fiber, or less fiber.
I don't know. Put him on a water cleanse.
Anyway, so we're excited to talk to you today about let's talk about one technician. I'll talk about one technician, one of our first technicians, and Whitney will tell a story about our newest technician. Okay. Now I'm going to tell a story, picture if you will, see through my eyes. Every night, every week, I would do the same thing for our first technician. And I trained our first technician how to do mixes, and that's really what they were doing. ASTMC 305 mortar mixes, about 2,500 grams, 0.35 to 0.47 water cementitious ratio. And then mixes smaller than that, 3 grams, 3 milliliters, like really tiny mixes that you mix up in a sandwich bag. So I would give our technician, let's call him Jerry.
Jerry, like that.
Jerry. Jerry. I would give Jerry the list of objectives with action plans, separate letters, with the mix designs on, what, Friday night? How did it work? I gave him the whole week.
I think
so I gave him a Sunday night.
No, Monday morning.
Sunday night the email went out.
Oh, okay.
So that he had a Monday morning, and I needed it the following Sunday. So he had a full week to get it done. I needed it the following Monday, so he had a full week to get it done. And if he needed to, any questions, let me know. So I remember at like 9 p.m., 10 p.m. at night, I would get a text message from Jerry. And Jerry would say,
Oh, Jerry.
And he'd say, can you come to the lab for a minute? Famously, this is when you were pregnant with Sammy. Can you come to the lab for a minute? And the first few times, for you know, my wonderful father once said, fool me once, shame on me, fool me twice, or shame on you, fool me twice, shame on me. And I fell for it. How many times? You come to the lab for a minute, just for a minute, and I would spend the rest of the evening doing mixes.
While we still paid this technician.
While we still paid. The other thing, and this is the last thing, I gave this technician a list of objectives, and there was a test on there that this technician had to do, which hadn't been trained on, so I expected him to ask me questions. Jerry. And Jerry looked at this test and he goes, I'm not doing this test. I said, what do you mean you're not doing this test? He goes, I don't fucking do this test. I said, what do you mean you're not going to do this test? We pay you to do these tests, to measure these tests. And he goes, fuck you, I'm not doing this test. I was like, why aren't you going to be doing the test? I can't say why, can I? It has to do, the test is called chemical shrinkage. And that, he was afraid, would be contagious to a certain part of his anatomy. And you can't make this shit up.
You cannot.
Like, that's real. That's real. That's a real story. So if you run into those technicians, reassess are you using that person in the best capacity?
Right.
Should you be using that person, or should you recommend them for a job somewhere else?
Right.
So a doctor's office, perhaps.
Right, perhaps.
But learned a lot of lessons from that.
Well, and all of the other ones.
All the other ones.
But yeah, no, our current technician though. Can I say her name?
Well, no, I made up the name for this. You have to make up the name for it.
Linda.
Let's come up with a name that sounds like her current name. Schnook. So let's just call her Schnook.
We call her Snooky.
No! Okay, yeah, let's call her Snooky.
I love it.
Well, I think Snooky is a trademark. TM.
TM.
I think it's a
And
trademark.
Jersey Shore.
So
You're from Jersey though, so I feel like you can like.
we don't have equal rights on copyright. That's not how. It's not a trademark word. So Schnook, as you were saying.
No, they.
Amazing.
Amazing.
Schnook is amazing.
Schnook is amazing. We actually hired her to do scheduling and admin, and she freaking hated it. But she was incredible, and anytime she would sit at her computer and work on the scheduling. Incredible energy.
Right.
And she would come down to the lab in the afternoon and be like, I need a break. Can I clean something? I cannot sit up there on my computer any longer. Can I please sweep or do anything but schedule for the next 15 minutes? And so we started having her do just little things in the lab.
We didn't, wait a second, time out. We didn't have her start doing anything. She just showed up and got involved.
And be like, let me help clean,
and the
put me
music
to work.
was very important
The
too.
music was very important.
That.
Yeah, I know.
You could tell that story.
We'll save that one for another time. But,
that's a good story.
That is a good story.
Well, you got to tell at least one story. That's the purpose of story time, baby.
I was getting into it.
Okay, sorry.
Give me a moment.
Sorry.
Anyways, so we had her continuing to schedule, and she was just getting incredibly frustrated and just did not seem overly happy or fulfilled with her. With what she was doing. And we knew that we wanted her on her team. I mean, again, the energy, just a positivity, like incredible.
I don't love how they sing a lot of Backstreet Boys in 98 Degrees. I could do without Nick Lachey in my life.
Boy bands in the lab, it's amazing.
One time we were doing rock. We were flipping rock, I should say, excuse me, to get moistures on it. And Brooke had the pile, or Schnook, excuse me, had the pile open and picking a song. I'm like, hey, what are you doing? That's supposed to be covered. And she goes, well, I gotta get a song. I'm like, what do you mean? Cover the freaking pile up. Gotta get a fucking song. What is Backstreet Boys? It's NKTB.
No, we don't listen to New Kids.
Sure you don't.
It's NSYNC, Backstreet Boys.
Would you shut it off if you heard the song?
98 Degrees? Probably not. We'd probably sing. Anyways, that being said.
A lot of singing.
Just recognize that was not the best.
Wasn't the best fit.
Wasn't the best fit for her.
Who came up with the idea?
I did. She came down to the lab and was like happy putting buckets into the shed, like the biggest smile on her face I'd seen in weeks. And I turned to John and I was like, what if we brought her down to the lab?
I said that's the dumbest idea I've heard all day. And I hear a lot of dumb ideas.
And then he was like, that's amazing. And so we asked her.
I did. It was a brilliant idea.
And she was just like, yes!
Well, it changed the dynamic of the lab.
It did.
And, you do something for 25 years, and working with Whitney is amazing. Unfortunately, Whitney is, not unfortunately that you're the CEO, but she has other priorities that take over a majority of her day. Felt like there was a rhyme there. But anyway, I don't get to work with Whitney as much as, both of us don't get to work with each other as we used to. So finding a technician who's at the same caliber, that's the impetus of all these stories. Sometimes you take the chance on a technician who might not have all the training, but they have, my voice is changing, but has the heart, the passion, and the willingness to work harder. As opposed to somebody who has 20, 30 years of training.
And doesn't want to hear it and wants to do it the way they've always done it.
Steals money off your counter while looking at you dead in the eye. Like, the one thing I've learned is, do not compromise your needs. Figure out, I guess, break it down to 3 or 4 things. The first thing is, do not compromise your needs. There are certain sins that are unforgivable, no matter who or how good they are, who they are, how good they are. Know your objectives going forward, and be able to read somebody.
Yeah, and I think, and along with being able to read somebody,
The
you know,
energy
you've got
and
to, but you've got to make sure, I mean, it's great to know that someone's a good part of the team, but you've got to make sure that they're in the right position. And that is a huge shift from scheduling to becoming a lab technician.
That specific story, yeah. So we ended up finding somebody who is
scheduling.
Well, loves scheduling, but with Schnook, you know, I've trained many a technician.
Mm-hmm.
You're one of the best she's another one of the best technicians.
Right.
There's a lot of them out there, but they're diamonds in the rough. Somebody who loves the meticulous nature of having a high precision and accuracy.
Right.
You know, and if you don't fall in love with the process, if you don't believe in the process for every test out there.
Right.
And if you can't, like yesterday, the other day we had to throw out like 40 samples.
Right.
Because we recognized a flaw in the process. The great thing about having a standard operating procedure is when there's a flaw, it's apparent, and seeing somebody get frustrated that they have to redo the mixes is great. Like, okay, I get it, you're frustrated, we're losing money, fine. Our client's not going to see the hit, nor are they going to feel the hit. Be comfortable with it. And seeing that moment that she got pissed, Schnook got pissed, and then it was like, you know, as quick as flipping the coin, that she just came to terms with it and started, how do I go faster? How do I get to that point where I can start setting up the next set of mixes to solve this problem? So, sorry, I took your story.
That's fine.
It's just been a breath of fresh air having somebody who's at our caliber.
Absolutely, absolutely. And just that, that energy and that willingness, that's, I think of all the positions we've hired. Thank you.
Yeah, it's good, I love you.
Love you too. Out of all the positions we've hired, the technician I feel like has been the hardest.
Oh, sure.
To find.
They're your foot soldier.
Yeah.
Tips for finding a good technician: pay well.
Pay well. Give good raises. Have good incentives. But the other thing is too, just don't go for the obvious one. I guess.
Right.
I mean, like.
Don't be swayed by this millennial concept, because millennials are hard workers. The hardest workers I've ever seen.
Yeah, honestly.
That's not true. I've seen some pretty hard workers.
Well, just
cancel. They're pretty freaking awesome.
Just be willing to evaluate the person and not necessarily their age or their work experience, because you never. I mean, literally, the best tech we've had, and the only one who had no experience in the concrete industry, and she's the only one that we've been able to hire and train in a short time. They can actually go and hang on a job site and go and work with our clients.
Yeah.
Which is amazing.
90 days, that 90-day evaluation period, let them know.
Yeah.
Remind them. That evaluation period is so important. And it's the first 2-week period that you've got to get through to see somebody's true colors. Those are my 2 steadfast rules. You know, 2 of the things that I want people in this company to do are follow through and communicate. And within the first 2 weeks, that job interview smile goes away.
Right.
First, not 2 business weeks, the first 14 days. You have to work 14 days with that person. And I don't know how you do your business, but that could be in a 2-week period. You know, with us, we sometimes don't take breaks here. So the true colors will come out in that 90-day period. You're going to go through the majority of what you're going to see in 80% of them working with you for the next 5 to 20 years. Because that's what we look for when we hire people, that they're going to be with us for at least 5 years. And if they get past 5 years, more than likely they're going to be with us for 20 years.
Right.
So, I mean, that's what we're ultimately thinking about. And what we want them to know, another tip, is, you know that you're going to invest in them. If you're getting somebody that is that good at their position, they want to become better.
Right.
And one thing that, not just our technicians, Haley, tell me if I'm lying. Like, I want to see you use your degree, right? We've talked about that. And it's important to us that not only do they bring in a revenue stream for the company, because if they don't do that, this one fires them. I thought that was funny. But we also want them to know that we are using their skill set to meet the objectives of the company, save the world with all the concrete in it.
Well, and the more passionate and excited you are about your work, the better you're going to be at it. You're going to show up, you're going to be more committed, and I think that's the other piece. It's finding the right fit with the right people. Right.
There are businesses that we've worked with where culturally, you know, people didn't fit together, and when they forced it, you know, bad things happen. Like you know, yes, that happens.
Yeah. So
That was a good ending to
That
that.
was.
So hopefully you learned something. Do you want us to say anything else?
Like, subscribe, ding that bell for notifications.
Go Concrete!
Beat asphalt!